Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another third-party unlicensed 1/6 scale figure unboxing and review video. Now today we are taking a look at the MToys Bane, based off his appearance in The Dark Knight Rises. Our quest to find the ultimate Bane figure continues, and who knows, it could be this one right here. We'll only know when we do the unboxing. Now I got mine from Comic Sanctorum. Do bear in mind, as I've already said, this is a third-party unlicensed product. I have popped the link in the description below for your reference purposes only. This is by no means a promotional video, this is a review on a figure I picked up for my own personal collection. While you're down there, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon and join button for more info on Justin's Collection Plus, the channel membership. As for the box art, it's simple yet very effective. Up top, the Gotham City skyline, a manhole cover that says Gotham City Sewer with Bane's face spray painted on the surface. I do like that the Bat logo is kind of integrated into his frown. Down below, Bane and MToys. On the side of the box, MToys, and on the back, a bunch of warnings and another image of Bane. Now, this figure isn't without some controversy, as third-party figures usually are. The first batch unfortunately shipped with the incorrect coat. It was a little bit too light. This one, it seems, has shipped with the replacement version. If you got the wrong coat, the best way to get either a replacement or some kind of resolution would of course be to contact your retailer. What we are going to do now though is get all of his accessories laid out in the light box and take a closer look at everything he comes with. Starting off with the display base first, it is done in the usual oval style. Up top, Bane, that same image from the front of the box with the Gotham City skyline in the background, then up top, a regular crotch grabber. Now this should be a relatively familiar sight at this point. It's of course the broken Batman cowl. It's broken on one side and it does just sit flat on his display base, or of course he can hold onto it. It's cast in black plastic with some speckling on the surface. Kind of meant to make it look like it's been rained on and it's a little bit wet from the fight in the sewers. You also get his bracer done in a brown pleather. You do have some real metal buckles and a little hole for his thumb to poke through. Don't worry, we will be trying this on the figure a little bit later. They also give you the image of Harvey Dent that he holds up on top of the camouflage tumbler. It's just printed on a piece of paper and it looks like how it did in the movie. Lastly, we do get a full array of hands, and no, they're not those cheap and nasty waxy third-party hands. These are really good. There's a ton of skin texture, they're well sculpted, well painted, and they're all a nice matte finish. Standing straight up and down in the light box, no crazy poses or accessories or anything like that. Also, no coat. Why? Because I hate it. I really don't like the coat. I understand what they were going for, we'll discuss it a lot more in just a second, because unfortunately we do have to put it back on. But for now, I just want to admire how good this guy looks without it on. The proportions, the outfit, the way it hugs the body, the head sculpt, it comes together beautifully. Without that coat, this might just be one of my favourite Bane figures by either an official company or a third party. That's right, I reckon this one might be the one to get. If, and this for some people will be a bigger if than others, if you decide not to go with the coat. For me, I planned on displaying this guy with the long sleeve shirt, so it's not a huge issue. But for you, it very well may be. Up close and personal, we've got a lot to discuss. And unfortunately, not all of it is positive. Now, I've mentioned the coat issue, this is the replacement jacket. That being said, I still think the colour is far too light. It's a nice grain and texture, it's not going to flake and crack over time because it's not pleather. It's fully lined and all of the details look accurate, although it is very bulky and the collar isn't wired, so it kind of just does its own thing. As compared to the Daft Toys coat, This is the correct colour, but it's made of pleather, so it could crack and flake over time. So it's going to be up to you to decide which look you prefer. The more movie accurate colour, or one that's going to be a little bit more durable, but way less accurate. With the coat now removed, we can focus on the positives, and yes, there are quite a few. Number one, the body feels really sturdy. It's got a good weight to it, the articulation is on point with double bend elbows, something that the Hot Toys Bane didn't have. And you even have the accurate scar all the way down his spine. I do want to talk about the head sculpt though, because in my opinion, it's the best Bane head sculpt ever. We do have the Hot Toys one, which is significantly smaller, and because it's quite a lot older, the skin texture, the likeness, even the expression, it just doesn't hold a candle to the MToys version. The mask looks awesome, the skin texture is great, and yes, that's undeniably Tom Hardy as Bane. Another issue that some people have had is the colouring of the vest. Now, for me, I really like it. I think the colour is on point, all of the straps are in the right places, and all of the buckles sit really nice and tight to the body. Now, I did have to do some adjustments to make sure it wasn't riding up too high, but to be honest, it's not the most difficult thing in the world. All of these are held together with Velcro or even just friction underneath these elastic loops. Now, the armor pad sections are fully painted with multiple layers of speckling. To me, as I said, they look really good. He's also wearing the long sleeve black V-neck shirt. You can see a little bit more of his pecs up the top. And I've installed the bracer on the right side. Some people opt for 2 braces, but if you're going to be movie accurate, then he should only have 1. His brown pants are all fabric. You've got multiple belts up the top that connect to his vest and harness, a faux zip that extends all the way around the back that quite surprisingly is fully painted. You also have 2 real working pockets at the front and 2 more around the back. You also have this flap that extends all the way down to this different lighter brown coloured section, and I do believe that's film accurate. Something that isn't film accurate though is that one knee pad is higher than the other. I think that's another factory defect. Fingers crossed on yours, you don't have the same issue. At the very least, as I said, they are real padded knee pads, and the little pieces on the front are nicely weathered and painted with some dirt and grime on the surface. Then the boots are one fixed solid hunk. I was hoping that MToys would take the initiative and do a split cut boot design because these are really stiff and sturdy. That means you don't really get a ton of articulation. They are at the very least nicely sculpted, and they aren't copies of the Hot Toys boots. These are brand new for this specific figure. We don't have any tread sculpted in underneath, but they are a little bit dirty and grimy, so they very clearly applied some paint on the underside of his boots here. At this point in the review, you may be thinking, Justin, you lunatic, why would I want to get this figure? His jacket is atrocious. And yes, I understand, it's not ideal. I like the material, but I simply can't get around the colour. So, say for instance you have a third-party Bane kit on a Fison body, which I would recommend you do anyway, they look incredible. Then you can pop your spare coat on this guy and it transforms the look once again. I still prefer the proportions without the jacket on, but seeing as though 1/6 scale figures do use standard-ish sized bodies, yes, this jacket absolutely fits, and I reckon it looks pretty darn good. For a quick side-by-side comparison, here we have the Hot Toys Bane on the left and the MToys version on the right. As you can see, MToys is bigger, it's beefier, it's far more proportionate, and in my opinion, it just looks way better. That being said, we still have the coat issue, so it's going to be down to personal preference. If you prefer the look of the Hot Toys one with the coat on and you like that head sculpt better, then that one's going to be your winner. For me, I can get over the coat because the proportions are so darn good. People kind of remember Bane as this big hulking monster, kind of like an M34 Fison body. But go back and check the movie, he wasn't that big. He was still huge, and I think the MToys version represents that beautifully. He's big, but he still looks suitably realistic, and pretty darn faithful to what we saw on screen. Next up, here we have the DX19, and I don't know why, but every time I bring him out, I get surprised all over again at how good he looks. On camera, he absolutely pops. And now, alongside Bane, oh yes, this MToys Bane is the perfect matchup. The proportions are great. He's taller than Batman, he's bigger and beefier. In my display, I have DX19 front and center, flanked by Joker, and now this MToys Bane. Going over articulation, do bear in mind this is my personal copy of the figure, so I'm going to be a little bit more careful. Starting off with the head sculpt, it is on a double ball peg, looking forward and back, swivel and pivot side to side. The arms do go up to there. They do go forward and back on soft ratchets, butterfly joint at the shoulder that also hinges up and down, swivel at the bicep, double bend at the elbow that does get you past 90, and then a regular 1/6 scale wrist peg. The torso crunches forward and back, swivel and pivot side to side. The legs do go forward to there, they do go out on soft ratchets to there, swivel at the upper thigh, double bend at the knee. You do have a double ball peg for the ankle, although because the boot is one fixed solid hunk, you only really get swivel. Wrapping up on the MToys Bane, based off his appearance in The Dark Knight Rises. Now, this one for me is a real mixed bag. I want to love it because the figure itself is incredible. This is by far, in my opinion, the best Bane head sculpt we've ever seen in terms of likeness, expression, and paint applications. Plus, the body is well articulated with the double bent elbows, and he has the scar down his spine, which is something that you don't really often get to see from third-party Bane figures. Now, the outfit, for the most part, is exceptional. I love the materials, the colors look relatively accurate, but the one big thing that lets this entire piece down is the coat. Now, it's absolutely something I can live without. In my display, he's going without the coat with the long sleeve shirt on, and if he is going to wear a coat, it's definitely not going to be the one he came with. But if you do have a display idea in mind that includes the coat, then I totally understand this figure won't be for you. But if you do want to display him without it, I reckon you are going to love this figure. He doesn't come jam-packed with a ton of accessories, but he comes with the basics, stuff that we've seen from other Bane releases. But as I said, he brings all of those other pluses, such as the head sculpt and the body. The icing on the cake, though, are the proportions. He looks so darn realistic. Just standing there, I can almost hear Bane's voice in my head. That's how good he looks. Now, like I said in the intro, this guy is a third-party unlicensed figure. That means MToys produced this in an unofficial capacity. I got mine from Comic Sanctorum. I have popped the link in the description below for your reference purposes only. This is by no means a promotional video, this is a review on a Bane figure I picked up for my own personal collection. While you're down there, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button for more info on Justin's Collection Plus, if you like the sound of seeing your name in the end credits of my reviews. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video.